All right, so today we are here to talk about the new cards from Unfinity and specifically how useful they are in Legacy and CEDH. And I am joined by Jesse and John. How are you guys?
Hey, pretty good.
Doing well myself. How about you?
All right, so the first thing I guess we're going to go over is the attractions and the stickers before we get to specific individual cards. So for the attractions first, I had to reread the mechanics article like 5 times to figure out how this stuff works.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, if you're looking at the attractions, I have the links up in Scryfall for you to go through, which is all the non-Acorn attractions. And so what they are is they are all artifacts, and you'll see on the middle right-hand side, there's numbers 1 through 6. Those numbers are not specific to any of these specific attractions. So, like, you know how Unstable had cards with the same name and art, but then they had different mechanics?
Yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, all the attractions have different lights lit up on the side, different numbers lit up.
Okay.
So when you see like Balloon Stand, which is the first one, has a 2 and a 6 lit up, it doesn't have to be 2 and 6. So there will be variants for all the different numbers. However, all attractions always have 6 lit up and always have 1 unlit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so essentially here's how it works in constructed formats. So if you're running attractions, you'll have a deck that has to have minimum 10 different attractions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are cards in the set that will instruct you to visit an attraction, which means your 10 plus card attraction deck, you will flip over the top card, and that will be the attraction that you have visited. And then the attractions all have various effects. So the attractions, what happens is at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you roll a die, and you visit any of the attractions with the result of the die that you rolled.
Yeah.
So 6 always visits them, 1 always hits nothing, and then they all have other numbers lit up. Some have 1 other number lit up, some have 2 other numbers lit up. So all of the attractions are either a 1 in 3 or 50-50 chance of being hit.
So you're kind of gambling.
Yes.
It is definitely, yeah.
So the attractions have various effects. Some of the better ones I'll go through. There's like, so none of them are like necessarily great, but I guess the idea is that if you're triggering them every single turn on your pre-combat main, that you can potentially start racking up value. So there's like make a 1/1 flying creature. There is your guy gets flying until a set time. Ferris wheel is you can phase creatures out until you hit 3 or lower.
Yeah. I think definitely the best one that has the potential to like go crazy, I would say, is Storybook Ride.
Exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of attractions you visited this turn. You may play those
It's
cards.
this turn?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was.
You may play those cards this turn at the beginning of the next end step. If any of them are in exile, you put them on the bottom. Haunted House is basically Goryo's Vengeance.
Yeah, that card's good. Or
Merry-Go-Round, all your creatures power 2 or less gain horsemanship. There's Draw a Card off Information Booth.
Yeah.
Roller Coaster, all your guys get +2/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah.
Swinging Ship gives you an additional combat step and untaps all your attackers.
That one is actually that one seems pretty good in certain decks.
So the first thing is that most of the attraction-related cards are not that good. However, some of them are almost good enough that maybe they could see play in Legacy.
The big thing with it is it's free. Like there's no downside, and I think that's what's going to be the problem if it does get played.
Well, so the downside is 2 things. First of all, you have to play cards that visit attractions, and the cards that visit attractions are mostly not very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second downside is, first of all, you have to have a singleton deck that has to have at least 10 of these. So you can't just be like, I'm going to put all the draw a card ones in here or whatever.
Right.
So you're going to have like some mediocre ones in your deck too. So there's an element of randomness in terms of which ones you're flipping over from the top. And then the second part of it is that the attractions themselves, each of them are only a 1 in 3 or 1 out of 2 chance to actually hit them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of randomness in whether or not
very
you're going,
inconsistent.
what you're going to get, and like there's a lot of variance in what you're going to get, and then if they're even going to trigger.
Right. It seems very inconsistent, but like even then, I feel like just the fact that they made these legal in formats, someone's gonna find somehow to break them.
So the fact that they are also, because they're so random and because none of them are combo cards or anything. Basically, if you're playing them, you have to be playing some kind of like mid-range or control deck that's accumulating value very slowly.
Yeah, because the lack of consistency in them makes it so hard to like have any sort of like consistent, okay, I'm going to do this like each game. play
The
with it.
longer the game goes, the better the attractions get, though.
Just have more opportunities to make them work, right?
Also, they are artifacts on the battlefield, so you can destroy them with like
Destroy
meltdown
them.
or whatever.
Right.
Relevant.
Now, the next thing with them is also there are multiple legacy legal dice rolling cards that exist.
Oh boy.
So from this set, there's Bamboozling Beetle, which is a 1-mana blue 1/1. It has Pro Robots, and it has 1 tap. The next time target player would roll 1 or more dice this turn, instead they roll that many dice plus 1, and you choose one of those rolls to ignore. Then we've got Barbarian Class from D&D, which is 1 mana red enchantment, which mode 1 is if you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest result. And there's multiple lowest result dice rolling cards. So there's that one. There's Pixie Guide, which is a 2-mana 1/3 flyer. And there's Will Blade of Frontiers, which is a 2-mana 1/1. Now, specifically in those cases, you don't get to choose which die you're keeping. You only get to keep the higher result.
Which is not necessarily good.
Which is not necessarily good. However, you can potentially, on the attractions, pick all variants that only have 3 and up as their numbers that are lit up, and 6 is always lit up as well. So if one of the dice happens to be 6, you keep that one.
Right.
Yeah.
However, even that is still pretty random, and none of those cards, again, are that good. Like, Will is a 1/1, Pixie Guide's a 1/3, Bamboozling Beetle's a 1/1, and Barbarian Class is a enchantment that doesn't do anything, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I personally hope that none of these cards are playable.
Also,
to be honest.
just to point it out, there's another card from the Forgotten Realms set, Feywild Trickster, which is a blue 3-mana 2/2, and it says whenever you roll 1 or more dice, create a blue 1/1 fairy dragon token with flying. So if you have an attraction and you're going to roll for it every turn, it will make a 1/1 flyer every turn. So in that sense, that one caught my eye because it's kind of like Ophiomancer.
Well, and it goes wide, and there's a lot of attractions that want you to go wide. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a couple that like there's the one that gives everything +2/+0, and there's some like creature buffing ones that want you to just like have stuff in play. Where I can see that,
Yeah. No, I definitely see a lot of these like
the kitty
combat-centric
coaster, giving all creatures +1/+0, and then the roller coaster giving +2/+0 as well.
However, I would say my assessment on these is because of how random they are, probably not going to see play.
Yeah, and then not only are they
I hope
like,
so.
but they're pretty slow as well, right? It's like if they're random, but you're always like you're getting an effect, then it's like, okay, well, it's random, but I'm getting an effect that's like decent, then that's like cool. But because you don't even know if you're getting something, and like just the tempo can be horrible.
Yeah, if I have to watch someone pull out stickers and attractions in my CDH games,
I think it's like more.
Oh, hang on, because we're getting there.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that someone will just like abuse the artifact creation aspect of
that
these.
might be. Yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah.
All right. So verdict on attractions is good but too inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know about good. I think there is a way that someone might find to make these really stupid.
I think there's going to need to be some creative minds at work, and I think that honestly the most likely thing that's going to happen that makes them work is going to have to do with the fact that they are permanents that you can just slap on the battlefield for free.
Right.
I guess not for free, but there are things that can just like put them into play. And if you have like an Urza or something that is going to be happy when you have a bunch of artifacts, or maybe like affinity cards, someone's gonna have to get creative. And I expect that the way that they're going to work, if they work, is by someone getting creative and basically just using them as permanents on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So then moving on to the stickers. So here's how the stickers work. So like the attractions, they are in a separate sticker deck or whatever. And you have to have at least 10 of them, and they have to be singleton. In this case, though, I don't believe they're random. You just have access to them. And what happens is at the beginning of the game, so you have 10 sticker sheets that you bring with you, and you choose 3 at random at the beginning of the game. And those are the ones you have access to during the game.
Oh,
okay. That seems really, really random as well.
Okay. So then all of the stickers, they have tons of different effects. There's 48 different stickers. But here are basically what they all break down to. So every one of them has 3 name stickers. So like cool, fluffy Loxodon. Then all of them have 3 art stickers. So plate of some kind of food, devil horn thing, Karn bobblehead guy. Then all of them have 2 ability stickers that cost some amount of tickets. The first ability always costs 2, I believe, and the second ability costs varying amounts of tickets.
Yeah.
And they have all sorts of different effects. And then lastly, they have 2 power and toughness stickers, which also have the first one is like a lower amount of power and toughness and costs 2 tickets. And then the second one is a higher amount of power and toughness and costs varying amount of tickets.
Yeah.
So, and the name stickers and the art stickers are free, so they don't cost any tickets. So basically, there's various cards in the set that instruct you to choose stickers and put stickers on stuff, and there's various cards in the set that will give you tickets, which are basically just like energy counters from Kaladesh. They're essentially counters that you have with you, and then you can spend the tickets on stickers that have costs associated with them. Now, as far as I can tell, the use of these is the name stickers. The only uses for them are like getting around legendary if you put the sticker on multiple of the same legendary creature.
Mm-hmm.
The art stickers have no functionality outside of the acorn cards, although there are some like sticker specific cards that will say like this card gets +1 for every art sticker or whatever, but basically they're useless in regular constructed formats.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And then the ability stickers, I mean, some of them are really good. Same thing with the power and toughness stickers, but you don't actually get that many tickets from the ticket cards.
Yeah, I
No.
noticed that. Yeah.
So-
tickets are hard to get.
So they're hard to get. So again, like the attractions, you have at least 10. They're singleton, and you choose 3 at random at the beginning, so you never know which ones you're going to have. And then the abilities and power and toughness stickers are all of varying usefulness, and they cost tickets that are not easy to get. And the name stickers have very, very niche uses and are probably more cute than anything else.
I think the name sticker only works with about like 1 card I saw.
So we'll get to anything that works with attractions or stickers, but it also, again, for the most part, looking through the set, it feels like most of the sticker and ticket cards are not actually good.
Wait. I think you missed one of them though. It's it gives a creature Bushido, which is just absolutely way too good.
All sorts of effects. We've got haste, we've got enters with +1 counters,
Oh, it's Bushido too.
infect,
Yeah.
loot, etc.
Yeah,
One of the
stickers
one of the
aren't
power
bad.
toughness stickers makes your guy into a 10/10, but it costs like 6 tickets.
These are all very cute. I mean, they're technically legal, but I don't see these being.
Oh, also for anyone who's worried that you're going to get to sticker your opponent's dual lands or whatever, you can only sticker cards that you own. First of all, secondly, the stickers persist across public zones, so battlefield, graveyard, exile, but they fall off in hidden zones, hand library. And if you don't have the stickers, you don't have to use the stickers specifically. You can use dice to represent them, or anything you would use as a counter to
Okay.
represent them. So you don't have to sticker your cards.
Yeah.
Damn it! I just really wanted to sticker my opponent's dual lands. That's sad.
Yeah.
Or sticker your opponent's tabernacle.
Sad.
Yeah,
Sad
but you
day.
cannot do that. So again, this one feels even more random than the attractions because specifically you get 3 out of the 10 at random at the start.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you don't even have access to the other 7 you choose. And I imagine for these, like, some are going to be good sticker sheets, others are going to be mediocre sticker sheets, and you probably are not going to be able to have all 10 of your sticker sheets be good. So there's going to be
No.
mediocre ones thrown in there, and then you can randomly just hit your mediocre ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So you guys ready to move on to the actual individual cards?
Yeah. They're talking about the first card.
And the first card is, in fact, a sticker card.
Right. Yeah.
So we have Blank Goblin, which is a 2-mana red 2/2 goblin creature, which says when this creature enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it. Add red mana for each unique vowel on that sticker, which are A, E, I, O, U, and Y. So the math breakdown on this is that of the sticker sheets, there is 1 sticker sheet that will give you 6 mana. There are 2 sticker sheets that will give you 5 mana. And then there are 6 that will give you 4. So the 10th sticker sheet has to be a 3-mana one.
Yeah, this is like very random, but it could technically be like a Jeska's Will, kind of. Like the first part of Jessica's Will?
So obviously the best one is to hit 6 mana, but that's again 1 in 10 chance because there's only one sticker that has 6 mana.
Remind me how this would work. If I cast this and let's say I get 3 random sticker sheets at the beginning of the game.
So so at the beginning of the game, you know which stickers you have access to already.
But when you play this card,
Okay.
you get to choose which of the stickers from the random selection.
Yes.
Are these stickers like a resource that will go away? Like if I use a sticker
Yeah, so the
sheet-
stickers are not reusable. If you sticker something and then it like goes back to your hand and then you play it again, the sticker that was on it has fallen off. You don't get it back.
Okay.
that significantly reduces the playability.
So for
of-
me, what do you know what the chances are of getting like a +2 on this? Like 5 mana from this?
Only 2 of the sticker sheets have 5 vowels on them. But if you include the 6 mana one, then it's 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's 3 out of 10 chance. So what I'm thinking this goes in like 100% might be Godo. Just I mean I played that deck and this is maybe a Seething Song effect.
Or if you get super lucky, the 6 mana one, and then you just go turn 2,
Godo.
Goblin, Godo immediately.
So
Right.
how I kind of see it is, so you have 3 chances to hit one of your like 5s or your 6, which is like really kind of where you want to be with this card. Like 3 mana make 4 is just, it's not really good anywhere.
I think the slight thing that's overlooked is that it is a creature, so it's a ritual that is a creature, so it gets around certain effects, and it also leaves a 2/2 body to be sacrificed.
Yeah,
That I think is like very, very overlooked.
that can be decent, but also I am a bit dubious of it. Like, I don't know how important it is. I think if you could loop this with things like Cloudstone Curio, that might be relevant. But because it loses the stickers when you put it into a hidden zone, you can't do like Cloudstone Curio loops. Pretty unfortunate for the card's playability. You can do certain things with like reanimating it because the graveyard is still a revealed zone. So if you like put it into your graveyard and then reanimate it and sacrifice it and like try to loop that somehow. I don't think there's any way good to loop it. Like you can't do like corpse dance and stuff. There might be like a hidden 4-card, 3-card combo that's probably not good that works with this. Should you hit the right sticker?
You'll always have access to at least 4 mana.
Yeah, it'll always
Okay,
be a
plus
one.
1.
I don't have the math on me exactly, but because you get 3 chances, I think a significant portion of the time it's going to hit a 5. To me, it seems like you probably have like a 60% chance to, maybe somewhere around there, maybe like 50% chance to hit a 5.
Well, let's actually do the math on it right now. Let's open up the hypergeometric calculator. See what the chances are. So we have a
Yeah.
10 cards. We have 3 potential hits because there's stickers that are 5 and we get to look at 3 at random. What are the chances we hit one of those? So we have a 70% chance to hit.
Okay. Yeah.
That's really good. To hit 5
See,
or more? Is that
To hit
right?
5 or more.
That's
Um,
really, really good
would you
actually.
try and look and see what the chances to hit the 6?
Well, let's see. So we only get 1. Yeah, so we have a pretty low.
Yeah. I would imagine.
20.
But honestly, having a 70% chance to just hit 5 is
5 is like
pretty nice.
for a deck that literally just, if you're playing a deck that just like wants rituals, if your deck likes Seething Song, this card's probably playable.
The decks I saw it immediately, not immediately saw it, but possible slots was Godo, Bergie, and I think Corvold actually, surprisingly. I heard some people talking about it. in that
Yeah,
deck as
Corvold has a
well.
lot of reanimation and can sacrifice it with Corvold,
Right, right.
then bring it back to make more mana.
To net mana, right. So if you're like reanimating it, it's basically 1 mana and you're guaranteed 4, so.
I think also getting past CEDH, I think this card could be a staple in Legacy Goblins.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So first of all, it immediately generates the mana for Goblin Ringleader.
Right.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you hit the 6 mana one, or in combination with Skirk Prospector, you can turn to a Muxus off of it.
That's pretty good.
That's actually solid. That's actually really cool.
So if you have, either 6 mana, hit and cast Muxus, or turn 1, like land Skirk Prospector, turn 2 Ancient Tomb, cast this, generate 5 mana, sack it to Skirk, cast Muxus.
like a goblin burning tree emissary, I can imagine, except a little bit better. Because it provides like a relevant creature type and will always make more mana than
You
it
can also hit
produces,
it off of Muxus and generate more mana to keep playing things.
which is actually pretty sick. Yeah, and if you hit Muxus and then this, and say you hit like another ringleader, you can then make a bunch of mana and then cast more, which actually sounds pretty silly.
That is actually pretty silly. I think it's a playable card actually, in a decent amount of.
I think this is actually the most playable card in the set.
I think the next one's the most playable.
Okay, so we'll get to that. So we're done talking about Blank Goblin?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, we've got Clown Car, which is an X mana artifact vehicle, a 1/1. Crew 2, when Clown Car enters the battlefield, roll X 6-sided dice. Odd results give you a 1/1 white clown robot artifact token, and even results put a +1 counter on this. So it is a potentially 0 mana artifact that's also an infinite mana dump to create infinite 1/1s.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think so. The main thing with this, the reason I was saying the most playable, this is already Clown Car is immediate staple in Magda, and in my opinion, Magda is a really good deck right now. It's
Yeah. Really good deck.
Magda and CEDH specifically, you're talking
Yeah.
about.
CDH, yeah. So Magda, we've had a lot of Magda players at like RLGS, and they've just been doing super well, especially into like a pretty heavy like mid-range meta. It's just it's a deck that it's kind of like Godo, but it has like toolboxy options,
Yeah.
and you can win at instant speed, which is really sick. Clown Car solves a lot of problems in terms of you get an extra crew ability, which is really good because for Magda, all you have to do is tap your dwarfs. So the way Magda works is you tap a dwarf and it generates a treasure when you tap a dwarf. It includes Magda herself. And so you tap a dwarf, create a treasure, but instead of attacking, you can just pay this for 0, play
Yeah.
all your dwarfs out, and then just tap them all, generate a bunch of treasures, and then win on the spot, which is really cool.
Yeah, which I mean, the deck already has like a fair number of these.
This is the cheapest one by far.
It is the cheapest one,
Yeah.
which is like pretty relevant. Like being able to you can actually just play this for 0.
For 0, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you just play it for 0.
Play it for 0 to make it like turn on Mox Opal and a bunch of other stuff, right?
No, just to crew all your dwarfs.
Well, specifically in Magda, but I mean in general, like you can just play it as it's an infinite mana outlet that you can also just cast as a 0 mana artifact to give you Mox Opal or whatever.
I don't know if I'd play this in other decks besides Magda. I could see it maybe.
I don't know. It kind of just looks like a Magda to me.
It seems like a Magda card. Some people are saying like, I think someone mentioned like Winota, but I would not play this in Winota. It makes like clown robot artifact creatures maybe, and like you'd rather play any other token generator.
Also, it is another infinite mana outlet in Legacy Bomberman.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Although obviously worse than Ballista or Karn 4 Ballista because it doesn't win on the spot.
I mean, I don't see for Bomberman and Legacy, right? Like I can't. This doesn't have any additional synergies that I'm missing, right?
No, I mean I doubt it, but it has been brought up as a thing you can do with Auriok Salvagers.
Okay.
I very much doubt it though. The use in CEDH Magda is a lot better.
Yeah. The definite auto include in that deck already. Like it's already in the primer.
Remember when Wizards said that the Infinity cards would not be playable in Eternal formats?
Yeah, that was a good joke. They also printed Modern Horizons.
Yeah. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Comet Stellar Pup. This is our Planeswalker of the set.
Good boy.
No.
So this is a 4 mana Boros Planeswalker. So it costs 2 red and white. And it is a legendary Planeswalker Comet. It has 5 loyalty. And then it has a single 0 loyalty ability that says you roll a die and then you do one of the effects depending on what die result you get. So if you hit 1 or 2, it gets +2 loyalty and then you make 2 1/1 squirrel tokens with haste. If you hit 3, you -1 loyalty and return a card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. It could be any card, doesn't care what type. If you hit 4 or 5, it deals damage equal to the number of loyalty counters on it to a creature or player, and then you -2 its loyalty. And if you hit 6, you +1 its loyalty, and then you can activate it 2 more times.
This is a very, very random card, and
Weird. This card is weird.
It seems like the abilities on it are actually not horrible.
Bad.
They're not bad, especially the returning a card.
So it's make 2 1/1s, return value 2 or less from grave to hand, burn something for loyalty, and then go again.
Yeah, 3, 4, and 5 are good. 1 and 2 is
Okay.
possibly good in certain decks. Like, the creatures have haste, so like I could see a Tymna deck maybe having this.
But we've seen value like planeswalker type things
Yeah.
see play
You
before, like
could
Minsk and
play
Boo.
this. Yeah, you could play this in Winota technically, but you don't really like to play any non-creature things in that.
It has like a variety of effects that they all just like get a little bit of value. I feel like you can shoot something, kill a creature, you can make some dudes that help protect your comet, or you can just like get something back, right? And so if you have like a low curve to your deck and that 3 ability is like consistently hitting, and you have like, I don't know, it looks like it has a variety of effects that are decent, but you don't know what you're gonna get once again.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not gonna do anything crazy ever. Like I guess you can roll 6 multiple times and go ham wild.
Also, again, all those dice rerolling cards.
Yeah, I suppose.
Comet Barbarian class, go ham.
That could be interesting. Yeah. But then if you roll like 4 or 5 multiple times, then all of a sudden you're just like,
It's just
oh, my
dies.
comet's dead.
I'm gonna be honest. I just think it's too random, and in CDH or even at like Legacy, any competitive format, you value consistency over a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is going to do anything in CDH and Legacy. Maybe it could be. I feel like I don't know. There are better options though. I feel like it could maybe find like a weird. I just no. I don't believe in it. I'm like trying to convince myself for the dog, but I don't. It's a card that you could play that I think that could do well in certain games, but I don't think it's a card that you can really like justify playing. But it's a card that I feel like you could play and have it do things, and you can like win a game playing this card. It's probably going to be worse than doing other things.
If it sees play, what's the best deck for it? Like Jeskai Stoneblade?
I think so, right?
Probably. Yeah,
I'm like
probably.
thinking about like other planeswalkers that kind of like fulfill a similar role, and I don't know that there's any in that like color combination that do anything super similar. Nahiri has a lot of effects that are, I don't know, that follow that same like, okay, I can get like value off of this by loot and like fix my card quality, or I can like shoot something and kill something. So it's like, I don't know, it's interesting.
All right, ready
But-
for the next card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we have Embiggen, which is a single green mana instant, and it says until end of turn, target non-brushwag creature gets +1/+1 for each super type, card type, and subtype it has. So the immediate slot is Legacy Infect. All of the
Yeah.
Infect creatures have been errata to also be Phyrexians.
Yeah.
So Glistener Elf and Blighted Agent get +4, and Inkmoth Nexus gets +5.
Which is
That's
good.
pretty
Yeah.
insane.
It's
Although, as far as I know, Legacy Infect decks don't really play the same pump spells that the modern decks do. So they don't play any like Vines of Vastwood, Groundswell, Might of Old Krosa. I believe the pump spells in Legacy Infect are Berserk, Invigorate, and Scale Up or Become Immense.
But this is on par with some of those, right?
yeah.
And it's instant speed, pretty decent. I don't know. I feel like this is auto played in that deck, but I haven't seen Legacy Infect in a while.
And specifically, since it says non-brushwag creatures, you can't use it on changelings.
No.
And I think this is just like a good add to that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like don't some Legacy Infect decks run vines?
Maybe, like, if this card is going to see play anywhere, it's going to be Legacy
It's
Infect.
Legacy Infect
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, if it's gonna play, it's gonna be in that deck. There's not really. It's not. Is it a common? No, it's not, right?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like a 4 of or anything, but I can definitely see like a couple copies of this card. But I mean, I could be wrong. It could be good.
Oh, it is a common. Wait, are these commons in Pauper?
Card will definitely be played.
Yeah, everything's pauper legal if it's a common.
So this is a common that's legal in Pauper. This might see play in
that's
Pauper
actually
Infect. Yeah,
Yeah. It probably will.
probably will see play. I assume
Yeah.
so. This is probably one of the best pump spells they get. Yeah, I haven't seen Pauper Infect in quite some time either. Infect has been out of the meta for a while, but maybe this helps bring it back, honestly.
I could see that.
I could, yeah.
All right, ready to go to the next card?
Yeah.
All All right, next we have Magar of the Magic Strings. This is a 1 black and red, so 3 mana, 3/3 legendary Minotaur performer. And it has an activated ability that costs 1 a black and a red. So the ability has to be worded really complicated, but I'll just break it down afterwards. So note the name of target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield face down. It's a 3/3 creature with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may create a copy of the card with the noted name. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. And if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So basically, for 3 mana, you reanimate a sorcery or instant as a 3/3. And then if that 3/3 creature hits somebody, you get to free cast whatever spell it is.
Yeah.
It's cool.
This card seems cool. I think
I actually played
as-
against this card before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I actually have, I guess, testing
Yeah,
against
talk
it.
about it.
Some guy was playing this in CDH, so we're playing on Coffee
As the
Break.
commander?
As a commander, yeah.
I
So
specifically see this the only possible place this goes as a commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a CDH deck, and it's basically like a Rakdos turbo deck, and it's actually kind of sick because it was really resilient. It
I can
like
see that.
if you like try to do something or like it gets countered and stuff, it goes back to the grave, you can put it on. Or if you want, once you get your commander out, you can start turboing into things like Peer into the Abyss. And then anytime those like big payoff spells would get countered, you just if it's in your graveyard, it's just another threat that you just bring back. It was actually like it's like a really grindy turbo deck, which is kind of sick. As long as your graveyard doesn't get exiled, it got hurt really bad by Drannith though. You can't cast it because it's not from your hand. The spell. And it's a very commander centric deck in that sense, but it's still a Rakdos turbo deck, so it's not super commander centric. You still have a lot of the combos that turbo plays.
The best cards with it are Peer into the Abyss and Adnaz, right?
Yeah, but I think also just like
Ritual
getting
tutors.
value in the mid game is really good too. Like you can cast a demonic tutor early, and then just there is usually somebody that you can bully with 3/3s. Like almost always, there's always somebody that you can hit with these.
So what happened is he casted a Vamp Tutor really early, and then reanimated it, and then there was like a bunch of stacks pieces out. So he was just like Vamp Tutoring every turn to just like find removal, and he was able to like remove things, but it was slightly slow. That's the thing.
So it is slow in that like you have to play this, then you have to pay 3 mana to reanimate the thing, and then you have to wait a whole turn and then attack with the creature.
Yeah,
once you get it online, it's very good though.
Yeah, it's slow, but the thing is, like everything else that you're going to be doing in this shell is going to be blazing fast, and so you should be able to make up for that.
You can Jewel Lotus this guy super easily on turn.
Yeah, and then just like I don't know, just playing like a classic Rakdos turbo shell. I could even see like just slotting in like a lightning bolt or 2 in this deck and being like, okay, well now I can just like board control.
Right. Yeah. You can definitely. This card was cool. When I played against it, it was very cool. The shell was probably not super optimized because it was like the first version, but it was still like it felt like a CDH deck. Like it actually felt like it was doing things, and it was actually hard to interact with. So it was cool.
How good do you think this card is in the CEDH hierarchy, or as compared to other Rakdos generals?
Rakdos has, in general, is like not super strong, but it still has. It's still a good color combination.
I think this has a home. I think it's playable. Do I think it's like great? No, but I think there are a lot of games that you can play this deck and win that other Rakdos decks like wouldn't be able to like win games. Does that make sense? Like there are games that you can win by playing specifically this deck over other decks,
especially other Rakdos decks, because a lot of them don't have the grind ability that this deck did have, and I did watch it have that grind ability. It was very, very cool, especially when you have like multiple creatures out, because you can reanimate more than one. So it's like, oh, do I block his Vamp Tutor or do I block his Lightning Bolt? So like something doesn't die now. People have to start making decisions, and you're just like slowly accruing value. That's cool. I like it.
All right. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have Myra the Magnificent. So I put this on here specifically to see if there's an attraction commander. So Myra the Magnificent is a 4 mana red and blue legendary human 2/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery from your hand, open an attraction. Then it has X mana and tap, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard, and choose an attraction you control that doesn't have a midway counter on it. Put a midway counter on it. Whenever you visit that attraction, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying for it.
Yeah, so you're going to get like maybe some triggers on your, on your next turn after you do this. And I
Yeah.
think like
It's also a bit awkward that the rolling for your attractions happens on your pre-combat main. So if you're
Yeah.
playing a normal turnout, you're like casting Myra, untapping, going to your next turn, and then probably casting a bunch of spells in your main phase, so you don't even get
Yep.
to have a shot at visiting all the attractions that you open.
No, you don't get to until like 2 turns away, which is pretty
seems-
slow. It's
I-
very slow, actually.
I just don't see why you would just play like Joyra or any other like.
At
is it
first, I thought this
Elsie,
would be
Clemander?
similar to like playing like a Krark deck, but when I learned more about how attractions work, I was not super sold. Maybe I think you could do something with this, just abusing the fact that it puts a bunch of artifact permanents into play and just being like, okay, well, I'm going to play Urza and I'm going to play this other thing that, I don't know, I'm going to play other stuff that like synergizes with just having a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield. But I don't think it's gonna have the velocity necessary. And I think that attractions are just like they're just not consistent enough for you to be getting any effect that's worthwhile.
What do you think about having this in the 99 of Galazeth?
I was gonna say in the 99, this seems actually pretty fine. In some decks, I think it's. I mean, it might be playable. I don't know if it's like super good.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't think Galazeth is a good deck, so I'll say that. And it's not like I guess you can get this off an Imperial Recruiter or whatever, but it's not particularly like findable. It's like something that you can just be like, oh, I drew this, okay, play this and get some
Right.
mana off it. I don't know. I don't think it's great.
I
The
hope
midway
not.
counter is interesting. I thought that could have been cool too, but you only get to put it on one, and if you don't hit that attraction and roll it, you're not doing anything. So
All right. Next card.
yeah, next card.
All right. Next card is Pair O Dice Lost. It is a 5 mana green instant, and it says roll 2 dice. Return any number of cards with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to your hand, where X is the total of those results, and then exile this spell. So you're going to hit an average of what? 6?
6 is
Six,
average.
six,
yeah.
7, 6 or 7. So first of all, you can return any number of
It is instant
lands.
speed too.
Yeah, so you can return any number of lands. You can also return any number of 0 mana artifacts,
Yeah.
and then also get other cards that cost less.
I could see this. I don't know. I could see this maybe being played in some of like the mono green decks that are slightly weak to like board wipes. And like if a board wipe happens, I was thinking of Yeva possibly. Like
I
a board
feel
wipe
like
happens and
know.
get all your
Yep.
stuff back, but then you have
Ganondorf.
to reset again. So
Yeah, but I think this card, I don't know what the home for it is, but like the points that Ami has brought up are like,
I'd say very relevant. There might be like a deck that wants to put a bunch of lands or 0 drops in the graveyard, just like milling stuff, and then you can cast this and like get a bunch of stuff back. But any of those things are particularly relevant. I'll start off by saying I don't think this card is playable in Legacy at all. Do you, Ami, or
I think it could see play in maybe some of those mid-rangey green decks like Maverick, Nick Fit, or Depths.
as like a one of?
Because like for
Yeah.
example, like decks like Nick Fit will even sometimes play like Elder Gargaroth or like other big green creatures.
okay.
Yeah, but those at least like provide like an immediate board presence. This is like good value and gets you a bunch of stuff back. But
It also gets you like if you're playing Maverick and you're fetching lands with Knight of the Reliquary, you can like Paradise Lost to get back multiple cards. You can use this as like a value card that just incidentally gets back all your wastelands and other stuff.
yeah, maybe you could play this in like mana bond deck. And like a legacy mana bond deck is like a one of that you or like a I don't know. I don't know. Actually, maybe you would play 4. I don't know, but I could imagine like you play like a Life from the Loam deck, and then all of a sudden you use this, get all your lands back, mana bond them all back into play. That could be something wild that you could do with this. Other than that, I kind of see this as like a casual commander card that's like pretty like decent.
I
And casual
actually,
probably, but
having played Yeva a lot, I actually see this possibly being in that deck. Considering how much mana you generate and how many like tutor effects you have, you can, especially if there's like a board wipe or something, you can like bring back all your cards to your hand, like float the mana pretty much, bring back all the cards from your hand, and then play Yeva and then play all the cards back out. Which that like It would just be like an anti like board wipe type thing, or if someone removes your like win piece. If someone for like kills your win piece, you can instant speed. The fact that it's instant speed is really good. You can instant speed return that win piece and then replay it again. Because like a lot of the time with that deck, you have like
Yeah,
by
you'll
turn
have
like by turn 4 you'll have like
15
30
mana.
30 mana. Like it's insane, but you have nothing to do with it. That's the hard part. So
Yeah.
like if you are able to play like a creature tutor and then I don't know, somehow it dies, or like somehow there's board wipes. Actually, even like if like Collector Roof gets removed, like a stacks piece that you have, or like your Glade Muse or whatever gets removed, you can instant speed.
replace.
Yeah, you can instant speed return those. Also, you can return lands, which to be fair, that deck plays like very few lands, honestly. Because you have so many mana dorks, like it should be playing few lands, but has been times where I just like actually don't have land drops. It doesn't really matter because I have like Gaia's Cradle and like Nykthos in those lands, but like sometimes you kind of just
It doesn't
want the
matter.
extra land
Yeah.
drops, and so you could just be like, cool, you don't use your graveyard for like pretty much anything else, so you could just return all the stuff and then instantly play them back, which is very, very relevant.
Yeah, I can see that. The instant speed portion of this card, I think, is very relevant for that deck specifically.
Yeah, and it puts it to hand, and like Yeva lets you cast it flash speed. So that's the only way I'm thinking of it. Like this, okay, this could be like a good way to stay in the game or like help yourself after a board wipe if you're able to make a ton of mana.
Another place, are you guys familiar with the Legacy Riddler deck?
I am not.
No.
So the Riddler deck is a deck that plays Containment, Construct, and Riddlesmith.
Oh, I do know that deck. I just haven't heard it called that.
So the idea is you have Riddlesmith, and then you have a bunch of 0 mana artifacts, and so everyone you cast loots into another one, but it doesn't matter because Containment Construct will exile them and let you cast them anyway. So you essentially turbo through your whole deck playing all these 0 mana artifacts. So this card could go either later in the game when you have expended a bunch of your artifacts already, or just with Riddlesmith. Now, I don't know. I don't think that deck can reasonably get to 5 mana that often.
That's
but,
what I was thinking.
But a deck like it could potentially play this.
Yeah.
If you have ways of like chaining a bunch of cards back to back and just like refilling all of your 0 mana artifacts.
What an interesting deck. That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Or even like, okay, a deck like, let's say 8 cast. Now 8 cast is mono blue, so obviously it's not playing this. But again, the point is there are multiple decks that will play a bunch of 0 mana artifacts. If there is a deck like that that has green mana and can reasonably get to this much to 5 mana to cast this could go in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems pretty cool.
All right. Moving on. So there's Saw in Half. This is a 3 mana black instant, and it says destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their base power is half that creature's power, and their base toughness is half that creature's toughness, round up each time. So basically, this is not a removal spell. It's a thing that double clones your guy, except except the creatures are smaller. So the 2 immediate ways that I think of using this are, 1, you can just use it for value, so you can like saw in half your Dockside and make a ton of mana.
Right.
Or you can use it as a combo loop where you can play. So, like, let's say you have Saw in Half, Eternal Witness, Culling the Weak, and then you make infinite Eternal Witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main thing is actually Dualcaster Mage.
Yeah.
Dualcaster Mage is another one, although
that
the Dualcasters won't have haste, so it's kind of the same thing.
I see what you mean there.
Because Dualcaster's normally with Twin Flame, and so the Twin Flame copies have haste.
But
Right.
I do see it having layering potential in like Corvold for that reason.
This seems like a really good card for Corvold.
Yeah.
This card also, if people weren't aware, was spoiled like a year ago. Like
Yeah.
literally, it was like they just were like, "Hey, we're making Infinity, and there's gonna be legal cards, and here's the first one."
Here's the first one. Trust us, they won't be
Wow.
legacy playable. Trust us.
Everyone was like, "Wow, this card is like a combo enabler and like super value town." Like I want to see the other cards, and I mean the other cards were not as good as this one. I think this is still the best one probably.
Yeah. And I think
But it's this card is good. It's a good card.
Yeah. I think another thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that this card also saw a lot of hype with the release of Cormella.
Cormella is just, it's the Grixis commander that you pay, you make Grixis mono with it, right?
Yeah. So it's the Grixis commander that allows you to get an instant or sorcery from your graveyard back into your hand, and it has haste, and you can pay 1 mana and tap it to add Grixis colors to your mana pool that can be spent on instants or sorceries. So the thing is, with this as a commander, is you can loop Saw in Half with a bunch of different rituals and wind up getting like infinite casts and making infinite mana if you have like a +2 ritual, like Dark Ritual. And in that deck, Saw in Half, it's not quite a 1 card combo, but the thing is, like, all the cards that you're working with in that deck are just good standalone cards. So there's like a ton of stuff that you can do, and it all like layers together very well. There's a lot of hype when this came out. People are like, "Oh, now you just have like this 1 card combo that gets all your stuff," and because like, "Oh, I'm just gonna use my Demonic Tutor and then find Saw in Half and then win." But I don't think it's like that simple. I think the fact that the commander doesn't really add any value. You can sacrifice it to other effects to like get some stuff back, but it doesn't add much value. I think it doesn't add a ton of speed either. It's in the best 3 colors in general, Grixis, right? Which gives you access to the Turbo Ad Nauseum Storm strategy.
If you're going fast, yeah, Grixis is what you want.
Yeah, but I think there was a lot of hype on Cormelon. I think that the fact that you do need other cards to assemble this, and you do need to have like you need to have like a ritual, and you need to have like a tutor to make this work and win with it, is kind of relevant. I think it'll be a playable, decent deck, but I don't think it's going to be the best, like one of the best Grixis decks, like people were saying.
Grixis has got some tough competition. Rog Silas is just such a good deck right now, and it's just so much faster than the other like Grixis decks. So
there is some resiliency that you can get by like, if your Sonic gets countered, you can like sack your commander to get it back and then like replay stuff. But I don't think that those play patterns are successful most of the time, because you're gonna have to like recast your commander.
Yeah.
But outside of Cormella, just to recap this card is really good, right?
It is. Yeah, it is a good card. It's probably, I would consider this the best card besides Clown. Well, Clown card just for Magda it is like auto include amazing, but this is the best card in the set for me. There's a lot of, I'm sure this card is gonna find other like things.
There's a million ways to use it, right?
With it. Yeah.
Another thing that I've heard people talking about actually is playing it in their Orzhov Stacks decks as like a combo finisher, but also a piece that can like double as protection and wind up like doubling up your hate bears.
Yeah, you can always, it does say target creature, so it's any creature. So for some reason, if you want to target other people's creatures, you can do so. We were also thinking of it in the Rog Taveshlis, right? That we have? Or not?
I don't believe in it.
Okay.
Like, you can play it, but I don't think it's good in our Rog Tavesh list. I think once you have like one Void Winner in play, you're already happy.
That's true. You also usually don't have a hand.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to, I believe is the last card. Strength Testing Hammer is a 1-mana equipment, and it says, whenever equipped creature attacks, roll a die. That creature gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is the result. Then if it has the greatest power or is tied for greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, draw a card. It equips for 3 mana. So...
yeah, D&T.
Yeah, I could see it in any Stoneforge / Urza Saga deck in Legacy, because Urza Saga will fetch it and it's an equipment, so Stoneforge can find it as well. It's pretty similar to Sword of Fire and Ice in that it's a equipment that you attack with it makes your guy bigger, and then you draw a card. You don't even have to hit them with it.
I think the benefit actually is the fact that you do not have to hit them. You just automatically draw a card. So off of a Urza Saga trigger, you put it out into play. You put it on your Thalia
or a construct or
a construct, but like best case scenario, you put it on a Thalia which has first strike, and then you just swing, and it's
or any creature with flying like Flicker Wisp.
Flicker Wisp, right? There's a lot of things you can do that too. I know a lot of the D&T builds recently have been getting off sagas, but they keep going back and forth. So this might be something they're testing with.
The only thing that I like feel about it that makes me like a little wishy-washy is Equip 3. I think is not a cheap price to pay.
It's definitely not.
But it's doable. Yeah. This card's definitely playable.
This is another equipment that also makes Fervent Champion much better.
Perfect. Yeah,
True.
that is true.
That'd be cool to see again.
Yeah, actually, with Fervent Champion, that's sick. But I don't know if there's any Fervent Champion legacy decks. Not that I know of.
No, but I mean that card just keeps getting like once we hit some kind of critical mass of equipment,
hard
you
to
imagine it
watch,
has to be
right?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a card that
Fervent
keeps
Champion is
buying.
sick. There
Mm.
are red, white D&T builds, so could be in there. But
Coming to stores near you.
yeah,
All right,
literally.
so wrapping that up, were there any cards I left out that you guys think should be discussed?
No, there's some absurd cards that are
There's
that
some
are
funny
just
cards.
like, oh god, this will make the game so fucking weird. But I don't think there are any cards that are like in terms of playability that have been missed. Yeah.
So, Jesse, your vote for best card in the set is Saw in Half or Clown Car specifically in Magda.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, Saw in Half we already knew, so it's like that's Saw in Half's like old news. So I would like to say Clown Car is my pick for the card I'm most excited for.
John, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Saw in Half is the best, but I am gonna give an honorable mention to Magar.
Magar's cool. Yeah,
I think that card might be like sleeper good.
I agree. Yes,
Yeah.
Magar is definitely sick, especially in Rakdos. It's like you get a lot of stuff, and being able to just every turn, just like I'm gonna swing at you with my Peer into the Abyss creature, and they're like, I guess I have to block this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the outlier, I guess, and I'm gonna pick Blank Goblin as the best card.
Blank
Cool.
Goblin. Yeah, Blank. I mean, yeah, I think that card will see play for sure.
Good. Yeah.
However, I am also going to point out that Paradise Lost. I think the big problem with this card right now is that we don't have a good like outlet for it.
No.
So we're just thinking like, okay, it gets back all your lands and all your artifacts, but then what do you do with that, right? But
Yeah.
more cards get printed, new things happen. This card is so absurd that that you can pay 5 mana and basically get your whole graveyard back, depending on what the deck is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's potential with that card.
there definitely is. I will say a lot of these cards I could see in the future being pretty stupid. Just because I mean it's an unset, it's already kind of stupid.
I want to see a Life from the Loam Paradise deck.
Oh man, I actually think this set is amazing for like casual commander. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be really cool to add like all these really fun and quirky cards into like casual commander, because I mean that's what casuals love, just like really dumb cards that like do really like odd things. When I played casual, I just built like chaos decks and would just make the game actually like almost unplayable, but also like really fun.
Yeah.
I had a chaos deck myself, and it was the philosophy I had with it is the most fun things to do in ADH are like draw a million cards or ramp a ton. So it was just like a group hug deck basically that would speed that up, causing everyone to draw and ramp a ton. And then the win condition in the deck was forced fruition.
Nice. That's funny.
That's hot.
You guys have anything else to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
No.
All right.
Not really. It was fun though.
Thank you very much for joining me today then.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right. See you, Ami. Yeah.